Alright, hey guys, and welcome back. 8 Brian here, and I'm back with my thrift store and pickups catch-up video for winter and early spring of 2023. So I've got a pretty good assortment of different stuff, and definitely some interesting finds for my finds of the month. Some stuff you may have already seen when I did my video at the Toy Cantina with my pickups there, so they're included here as well. But anyway, stay tuned and see what I've been up to for the past couple of months. So let's start things off with miscellaneous. And in the miscellaneous category, one of the main things that I've had for a while, and I was surprised that I was able to complete it. This I've already had, and this is a Tomy Pop the Pirate game. This is the Japanese version, and I'm not sure if this is... Yeah, this is the 79, so this is from 1979. This is the vintage Japanese version, because there was one they released in like 2003 or 2010. There was a re-released version, but this is the says the date on the bottom of 1979, so that is the vintage version. And I had the barrel for the longest time. I never really knew what the heck this thing was. I always thought it was like, it reminds me of like Donkey Kong, like the, you know, the drum beat game or whatever, which it obviously isn't that, but since it's shaped like a barrel, I was like, what the heck is this thing? And I did some research and found out that's what it was. And at a local thrift store that I go to a lot, I finally found all the different pieces to it to complete that, because a lot of times I'll pick stuff up, it's random or it's incomplete and stuff, and it always kind of eats at me if I don't have all the different parts and pieces to it. So I was very glad to finally pick this up and complete this old vintage game, especially because Tomy makes a lot of really, really cool stuff. Other miscellaneous stuff, let's see. This I picked up at a store that I go to a lot, and let's see, what is the company? I don't remember the company, which you think would be really easy because it would just say it on the package, but this is a very odd Japanese robot that was made in the, I think, the early 90s, and they're combiner robots, and they made ones that were like sports, and I think other ones that were just like regular like cars or planes or whatever. This is called like a sporting version. So this has like, this is it's supposed to be like an Indy car, and there's a second half to it, which I didn't know. And I wish I had bought the other part to this when I saw it over a year ago, because it's been in this guy's shop for the longest time. But because on the package it makes you think you can just like transform it into the one large robot, but you actually need both to combine it. But still, I don't really mind, because I really like the packaging. And I'll take it out and show it to you here. I think LH is the company. I don't know what the actual name is, but that's the logo there, LH something. I forgot. I looked it up at one time, but yeah, pretty unusual, like little Japanese transformer. And there it is in its car mode. So it has a nice little vehicle mode, like that's fine, but if you go to transform it, let's see if I remember how to do this. There we go. So these come out like so. They really stick. And you have that problem with a lot of knockoff transformers where they don't really transform very fluidly. And then the arms come out like so. Let's see, I think I got this right. They go down, and then this front piece folds down. So yeah, you just have the upper torso and arms and face of the robot. So he's like Jambi from like Pee-wee's Playhouse, just like a floating torso, like mecha like a high, mecha hiney ho transformer or whatever. So it's still cool. It looks much better in the box, but very weird. Or I guess, you know, just with my ignorance of not knowing that you needed both of them in order to complete it. Get in there. There we go. So, but like I said, still it makes a nice little, kind of like a, like almost like a Diaclone sort of themed, you know, little Transformers race car. So, like I said, the box is really cool. I really like the box a lot. And I think I paid like $2 for this. No more than $5, between $2 and $5. The Tomy game, that was like $1.50 for what I needed to finish that up. Let's see, other miscellaneous stuff. Got a bunch of really cool miscellaneous stuff. This, I already had one in the package. These were an old little Rice Krispies premium that you got in the box, and they're little rubber poppers, and you push them down like that, and then it'll like, yeah, it'll do exactly that, where it'll spring up in the air. And I had one sealed, and I was like, oh cool, I don't have one like just loose to display. So that was like, you know, $1 or $1.25 or something. Very, very cheap. Very cool. And all these other things here were $1. I got another Guts figure to add to my collection of Guts figures. Love the Guts line, awesome. This was great. I didn't realize that I already had him, but from Exo Squad, got a nice little Wolf Bronski figure. And he was missing the leg in a bin when I was digging through it, and I just had a gut feeling his leg was in there, and it certainly was. But anyway, I got an extra Bronski, so no complaints there for $1. And this I have sealed on card, but I like having stuff loose to display too. So this is a 1983 Return of the Jedi of Royal Guard racer. Really nice. I just like how that looks. The display is really good. Only $1. Another little Tomy wind-up. Little kangaroo with boxing gloves. I love Tomy stuff. They make fantastic toys. I'm going to see if I can get it working again, because it doesn't, like, you can hear the gears moving, but it's supposed to, there's a little peg, I think, that comes out, and then when you hold it down, it does like a little backflip, which I don't know if I can get it to do. Yeah, but it does like a little flip, and it's supposed to like land on its feet. And it does the flip, but it just doesn't do it when you wind it up. But it still looks really nice and cool to display. So there's that. And I got another one to add to my collection of the He-Man, the 2001, the 2000X series. And we got Man-at-Arms. I got a bunch of these little guys where they can move at the waist and stuff. I don't think at the arms, but they're just little PVC figures. And I got Skeletor and a couple of He-Man figures. So anytime I see them, I always pick them up, and they're always cheap, because I don't know why people. It's like one of those Motu things that just goes under the radar. But I think eventually you're going to probably see them go up in price just because it's Motu stuff. Let's see, more miscellaneous stuff. Again, this was also $1. This really crazy Micro Machines car. I got a bunch of like monster trucks, but I've never seen one with the 6 wheels. And that's just really awesome. Has that crazy kind of like snake-like movement where all the wheels, like, they just adapt to whatever they're rolling over. And that was just too awesome to pass up for $1. I mean, $1 for a Micro Machine might be a little bit much, but for something that size and looking that cool, you know, I thought that was a good deal for only $1. Also picked up another McDonald's Stomper to add to my collection. I got about 4, maybe 5 of those now. They're always nice. I really like them. They have the good wheels. Cool color. Oops. Let's see. This I picked up at a thrift store near me as well. It was another Crash Dummies Crash Cycle. It's missing the sidecar, but it was only $1, so it gets added to my Crash Dummies collection. And Crash Dummies stuff, it's really hard to find it complete because it all pops apart. So, you know, that can be very difficult to find stuff like that complete. All right, let's see. Also a few little other things here. This was also, I think, like 50 cents or $1. Kind of banged up, but another Hot Wheels crack-up car. And there was another one too that I was going to get, but it was missing the little plastic thing to retain it, so I kind of passed on it because there's not a real point if you can't reset it from the damage to repaired. But these are some of my favorite Hot Wheels cars ever, so love adding them to my collection any chance that I can. I think this was also 50 cents for $1. I don't know what the heck this is, but it's some wacky little spaceship dragster car. I don't know who it's made by. It's weird. It says something like, let's see, made in Hong Kong. And it says like 2002, but I think that's just the series, because I mean, looking at this, like, no way. They didn't make like die-cast cars like that in 2002. It's just, no, that's ridiculous, like with the paint and everything. So I have to do a little more research on this and see who this is actually made by, and especially the styling. That's such an old 70s like outer space style with the chrome. So very, very cool. And let's see, these I picked up, they were only 25 cents, and these are, they're relatively new, but I don't care, I think they're cool. They're little mini, little laser pistols, and they're from around 2014 or 2012, I think. And they all have like different sound effects and stuff. So those are just fun. They're just really cool. And let's see. These I picked up. They were mainly for trade at a store that I go to a lot. And these are some more Takara penny racers, and I got these because they glow in the dark, and I absolutely love glow in the dark stuff. So we got a Jeep with the surfboard, and this one's called the Stargazer. And this one's just a little Indy car. And they're super nice, and they glow really well. So, oh wait, does it have a name on it? Let me see. Looks like it says like the Spookster or something. The Spooker. I guess it's because it's maybe supposed to be like a ghost Indy car, like a ghost is driving the race car. So that's cool. I guess that's what it says. I really can't see, but that seems to be what it says. All right, and so next I have this really cool, pretty rare monster truck made by a company called YCT. And it was in the late 80s, early 90s. They made a bunch of these crazy looking monster trucks, and this thing was not working. I took it completely apart and got it working again. And this is the Tropical Runner in the series, and I just really liked it because of the crazy, wild, bright neon colors. And like that's totally, you know, a trademark of the late 80s, early 90s, the fluorescent yellow and green and the pink and the blue. You got that, that funny little butterfly sticker on the side. And that's some good suspension. And this is what I had to fix, the pullback tab. And you just pull that back. And then it'll just, you know, it'll just go forward and stuff like that. I haven't used it in a while, so it's a little jammed. There we go. Gets a little stuck sometimes. But yeah, that totally wasn't working at all. It was only $1, and I just thought, hey, that's really different and cool. So definitely glad to pick that up for $1. Let's see. Well, I guess this is a truck of a different variety, and I think this was only $1.50. And this is from the Tonka Trax line of trucks. And I don't really pick up a lot of Tonka stuff because they take up a lot of room, and I mean, they're neat, but a lot of them are very generic. But I really like the label on the side with this fluorescent orange and the logo, so it definitely stood out a little bit more than your typical like Tonka construction truck, even though it's a dump truck. And you know, the price was right, and I just thought, hey, this is pretty cool, and I just really like that fluorescent sticker. So really neat. And, well, this is something that's really, really different. It's weird to call this a find, but I guess I'll include it because I think it's so unusual. A lot of you guys probably remember, like, Bonkers candy and stuff. Back in the 80s when they had the commercial with the fruit and stuff would hit people on the head, and, you know, it had, like, the candy inside and the gum, and it was, like, one of the best candies in the 80s and 90s, like, ever made. And I didn't find that, but I was in Dollar Tree, and I found this type of candy called Hi Chew, which is apparently really popular in Japan. It's like a Japanese candy, so I don't know if I can get it there again. But it's basically the exact same thing as Bonkers, where they're the little squares with the candy inside and the gum on the outside. And so I kind of wanted to show that because I was like, wow, that's really crazy to see candy that hasn't been made since like 1994 or 1995. So that's really weird, really cool. Other stuff too, I picked up these vintage Legos. They were only like, I think maybe $1.50 each, which I thought was a steal. They're both from, I believe, like 88, 89, so late 80s. You got this cool little Shell race car driver. This Formula One Indy car, number 1 on the front. And the old Shell logo. I don't even know if those gas stations are still around anymore. And he's got his helmet and everything. And it, oh wait, no, that came with the other one, so I got 2. Sorry, I got them a little mixed up. And then we've got this little guy here, and he's on a jet ski, like a little wave runner. And he's got the American flag logo with the stars and the stripes, the number 3 on the front. And then he comes with these 2 little buoys. Little red and green buoys, so you can pretend like he's, you know, riding his jet ski through the water and passing the different buoys as he's doing his laps and stuff. So they were really cool for $1.50. I thought that was a great deal. I also picked up for, I think this was like $2 or $3, another Biker Mice from Mars motorcycle. And I think this is, what's his name, Ratchet or like Gearhead or something? I can't remember his name. He's the one that has the bionic arm and everything. I've already got him. I probably have like 2 or 3 of him with the doubles. But the little, let's see, where is it now? There's a little switch. Let's see, yeah, to where you push this little switch and that still works, to where the little laser pistols come up, and then when you drive it, they look like they're firing and everything, so that's really nice. I don't think I paid more than like $3 for that, so that was a good find. And then this was also a trade. This was the same store that I got the little Takara penny racers at, and that is another Micro Machines Star Wars Action Fleet vehicle, a little snow speeder, and it has both Biggs and Luke in there, with the little figures in the cockpit there. And that was one that I used to have when I was growing up. I don't know if this is like, you know, one that I did have. There's only one that I know that is mine. That's my little AT-AT walker, but this, you know, maybe. Again, found it in South Jersey, and every time I find one I always think, you know, wonder if it is, but you never really know. But anyway, still very cool. Glad to have it. And then this stuff here, this again was all stuff that I got just 100% trade from the Toy Cantina that I showed before. So a couple of Galaxy Warriors. I already had this guy, but what are you going to do? Now I got a double, and I didn't have his armor for the other one, so no big deal. And, you know, it didn't really cost me anything anyway. The snake guy I didn't have. Oops, legs are a little wobbly. I was really excited to add him to my collection. He's really awesome looking. And then 2 more Mad Balls. I absolutely love Mad Balls. And Bruiser Brother, I think that's his name. And then Snakebite. So these are great because I freaking love Mad Balls or Oddballs or any type of weird, you know, of these ugly face horror balls from the 80s and 90s. They're awesome. So those are super cool to add to my collection. And let's see. Okay, so this will be not quite at the finds of the month yet, but some other really interesting stuff that almost made it. This is a Viewmaster, very late 80s, early 90s version. And I've already got a couple. I don't have this one in particular, or I didn't have this one, I guess I should say. I didn't have this one already. And the thing that makes that really cool is there was a lot of awesome Viewmaster reels with it, because actually these are the hardest thing to find just loose Viewmaster reels. And we got, It's a Bird, Charlie Brown. That was cool. We've got an old Winnie the Pooh reel. And let's see. And then the rest, let's see if they're in order or not. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. A series of 3, and these are Pee-wee's Playhouse Viewmaster reels. So that is very odd to find that. That's something pretty uncommon that you're not going to come across. Pee-wee's Playhouse Viewmaster reels. So really neat. And let's see. Well, I guess we'll just include these now. This I just recently picked up. Again, I think it was only like $1 or $1.50. And it's a sealed package of chopsticks from McDonald's 1987 Shanghai Chicken McNuggets promo. Which, how bizarre is that? Where in the world are you going to find a sealed pair of McDonald's chopsticks? And I had totally forgotten that that even was a thing and existed. And you got like, your chicken McNuggets and the chopsticks, and there was like, soy sauce, teriyaki, and like hot mustard. And so that's where they did like the whole, Shanghai Chinese theme. So I don't know how you pronounce that, the Szechuan sauce or whatever, like from Rick and Morty, that has nothing on a pair of original sealed McDonald's chopsticks. You gotta up your game. Let's see, and then also, this is really cool. This I could almost consider a find of the month. I guess it kind of sort of is. And this is a lenticular mask ring. And it has the, let's see, the switchblade from the main villain of Mask. Can't remember his name, but that's off the top of my head. And it transforms like that. And I believe this was a something you got in like Burger King or McDonald's, like a Happy Meal prize. So there's that. That's really neat. And then these I got in a lot. I think maybe I paid $5 for the 4 of them. And they are a bunch of vintage water pistols, which were awesome. I couldn't believe it when I saw these. So this is my favorite one out of the group, out of these vintage toy water pistols. I love this. You got the fluorescent translucent green, and the little thing is busted off there, but I guess because that somebody probably was too small for their finger, and they broke that off, or maybe back in the 80s and 90s that got broken off. But like this is exactly what I would have seen in so many stores in my neighborhood growing up in the late 80s and early 90s. So that's just, wow, like such a flood of memories came back from seeing that one. Same with this. You got this little like ray pistol, this translucent blue. Just how cool is that? These things are beautiful. I absolutely love them. Gorgeous. Got a little kind of pirate Derringer water pistol. Really neat. And then kind of like from World War II, like a little Luger water pistol as well. So really cool. And you would always see these at convenience stores and stuff like that, for like $1 or $2 back in the day. And man, I remember playing with those. Tons and tons of fun. Alright, so now to get into my top two finds of the month. And these are both items that are really kind of special, at least more to me. I found something that I was totally surprised to find, and that was, I believe this is Fisher Price, and this was the Muppets think it was called like the Muppet Theater or something that they made. And this is the reporter Kermit the Frog, and he's supposed to have a hat. He doesn't have a hat, and he has his little detective coat, and then he has a little thing for his tuxedo for like formal wear. And I had this when I was a kid, and I also had Gonzo, and this really made me wonder if this was the same one that I had, because there was a stain after I cleaned this, and I remember the one that I had also had a stain, like had like a dark mark on the back there, and I was like, that's really weird. So it's like, I wonder if that's the same one, but whether it is or whether it isn't, it's still really cool. And I love this thing when I was growing up, so awesome to find that again. And again, I paid nothing for that. That was just in a trade. And then my final find of the month, which this I had seen at a store I go to a lot, probably the past 3 months, and I always meant to pick it up and never did. This is $5, but totally worth it for the memory, because this is a toy that I totally forgot. It's unbelievable to me that after all this time of collecting toys, that there's still stuff out there that I had growing up that I've still forgotten that I had. And that is this Starrier's Windstorm vehicle slash figure. And he would have came with another Starrier's figure called, I think Top Shot would have been the name. And this thing is in horrible shape. It's going to be a restoration project for me, because one of the talons was broken off. I had to re-glue that. One of the posts inside the spring came off. It's missing the wings. It's missing the harness. But I would always see that up in the store, and I would see that, like that pterodactyl face, and I was like, what the heck is it? And it would always just spark something in my mind, and I was like, why does that look familiar? I'm like, why do I remember that? And so I went in the other day, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm getting it. Regardless, I was like, it's coming home with me. It's like, obviously, it's something I had growing up, and I looked it up and saw the whole picture of it with the wings and stuff, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, yeah, I totally forgot that I had Starriers growing up. And I had another Starriers figure too called Sawblade. He was a little purple guy, and I remembered he had a little blade that spins around in his chest, and I completely forgot that Starriers was a toy line that I had and played with growing up. And if not for this, I don't think I would have ever remembered it, because Starriers is a really obscure brand made by Tomy, but just didn't really sell that well. And you can see here, you move this little lever, and the head moves up and down, and then that's where the wings go, and you can place all the little laser pistols and stuff on the side and everything like that. And then this makes the talons retract. But they don't really do that well because of the spring that's missing. But yeah, so like I said, that's going to be something that's going to be a restoration project. And again, with something like this that's just so off the wall and so rare, it really makes me wonder, and not rare as in valuable, but just rare as in it wasn't a line of toys that really sold well. It makes me wonder, like, you know, could this have possibly been mine? I don't know. But, you know, a lot of people did not have this version of the toy, and a lot of people didn't have Starriers to begin with. And knowing that I had this and being so unusual, it really makes me think, and like, you know, I wonder if that's the same one I had growing up and was broken. And so I always say that to a lot of people when you think if there's a toy out there that you had from your youth growing up, and you think, oh, it's probably in a landfill somewhere and you'll never find it again. And people are always surprised, like, wow, how do you find your old stuff? And, you know, simply put, I just remember with a lot of different toys, like different features on them. So that way I remember things. Like there's a little boat that I found years ago, and I found it with a talking Raggedy Ann and Andy bank. And at a vendor at a flea market that I got, I remembered it was missing the string that goes around the mast. And there's a little orange string that goes around the second mast that was always tied underneath. And I find that when I find stuff that I used to own, number one, I find them in lots. And number two, I have photographs that I can reference what they look like. And then friends and stuff will like remember when they see the photos. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember you had that, or we were playing with that, or, You know, like I found different stuff like my grandmom's like croquet set, and like my relatives would be like, oh wow, I can't believe you found that. They remember it. So when people think and like it's unbelievable, like, oh, you can't possibly find your, you know, your old stuff again. And it's like, well, you really can. You know, it's like years ago I was going to flea markets like, you know, 5-6 times a week. So the likelihood of me running into my stuff after a while, being only 15 minutes to half an hour from my house where I grew up and where it got sold at, it was pretty likely, you know, after a while, you're going to run into some of the stuff that you had. So just to, you know, quickly recap that, a lot of people would think like, oh, you know, there's always the stuff ends up in a landfill. And I think that's really unlikely, because something like this, as broken as this is, if this didn't end up in a landfill and this ended up in an actual toy collectible store that somebody's actually selling for $5 instead of just chucking it, you'd be surprised. Your stuff might still be out there. So don't give up, you know, keep looking, and you might actually find something that you thought you would never see again, like this little Star Wars toy that totally reminded me of stuff that I hadn't played with and would have never remembered otherwise. So anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for my winter and spring thrift store and pickups catch-up video. Probably got a bunch more stuff coming up in the, I guess we'll say, midsummer going into the fall, after I've accumulated a bunch more stuff again and could do another video. But definitely comment down below what some of your favorite stuff that I showed was, what you liked the most. And have you ever found any of your old games or toys when you've been out, you know, hunting flea markets and thrift stores and stuff like that? Definitely, you know, comment down below. I love hearing those stories, want to hear those stories, and hope you guys enjoyed seeing everything that I picked up and showed here today. And I will see you guys back here next time for my next thrift store and pickup adventure. Until then, take care, guys.
Hey guys, if you liked the video that you just watched, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, and you can follow me at Facebook at King of Retro or Twitter at #8ByteBrian. See you next time.